Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are reading from the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatiswarananda. We are on chapter 19, Essentials of Meditative Life, starting the section Moral Discipline. The teacher of yoga, Patanjali, is unwilling to give any instruction on asana or posture unless and until the spiritual seeker is to some extent established in what he calls yama and niyama. The spiritual seeker should practice non-violence, should tell the truth, should not be greedy, should practice continence as much as possible, and should not depend on others helplessly. This is what he calls yama. This is Patanjali Yoga Sutra 2.30. We saw this earlier. The spiritual seeker should practice non-violence, ahimsa, should tell the truth, satya, should not be greedy, aparigraha, should practice continence as much as possible, brahmacharya, and should not depend on others helplessly. This is what he calls yama. And even that is not enough. He says that one should practice an amount of purity, external and internal. One should try to be contented, santushta, adjust to one's environment as much as possible. One should practice the threefold discipline of the body, of the speech, and of the mind. Further, one should study the scriptures and assimilate the ideas. Even that is not enough. Egocentric activity is no good. One must try to surrender oneself completely to the Supreme Spirit whom the devotee discovers later on to be the soul of his soul. All of these come under niyama. So this is again Patanjali Yoga Sutra 2.32. Swami Brahmananda used to tell us, I will conquer lust, I will conquer anger and greed. If that is your approach, you can never conquer them. But if you can fix your mind on God, the passions will leave you of themselves. You can never be fully established in morality unless you believe in God. This is from the Eternal Companion, page 245. By God, he did not mean any extra cosmic being. In the beginning, we may think of God as a being or a power who has brought this world into being, who sustains us and who takes it back. As we progress, we find that the power which we thought was outside is not only a power, but also a presence within. And advancing further, we see and feel the presence of the divine in all. Cultivate mental harmony. Sometimes people come and say, Swami, I want to forget everything including my mind. What sort of mind have they got? Swami Vivekananda used to have a pun on the word mind. In Bengali, we call it mon. Now, mon also means a mond, that is 80 pounds. And so the great Swami used to ask the youngsters who went to him, has your mind got the weight of 80 pounds or only a chatak, 2 ounces? What sort of mind have you? The mind is to be developed. The will is to be developed. Thoughts and feelings are to be developed. Only then comes the question of transcending the mind. It is a difficult task, but if there is spiritual aspiration, all this becomes easy. Where there is a will, there is a way. When you want to pass an examination, especially in India, where every young man, instead of struggling for knowledge, is over anxious to get some appointment to maintain himself and his family, what an amount of trouble you take. That is because you have an ideal to strive for. In spiritual life also, if we keep the spiritual ideal living and bright before us, everything becomes easy. All the trouble that we take would be worth taking. Let us remind ourselves of the wonderful analogy we have in the Kathopanishad. The Upanishad says that the body is like a chariot. Senses are like horses. The mind is like the reins. Intellect is like the charioteer, and the Atman is the master of the chariot. And this is in the Kathopanishad, Mantra 1.3.3. Atmanam rathinam vidhi shariram rathamevatu buddhintu sarathim vidhi manaf pragrahameva cha indriyani hayanahuhu. So again, Kathopanishad Mantra 1.3.3. Atmanam rathinam vidhi shariram rathamevatu buddhintu sarathim vidhi manaf pragraham evacha indriyani hayanahuhu. As the chariot moves, if some of the wheels come off and roll away, can it proceed? Horses have become restive, turbulent. In order to control the horses, you have to hold the reins tight. And the master of the chariot must ask the charioteer to be wide awake. But what usually happens is, the master goes to sleep, the charioteer becomes drunk, the reins become slack, and then the horses start running wild. Fortunately, there is no great disaster. So before there is any disaster comes, let us be wide awake. Let the master of the chariot be wide awake. Let him ask the charioteer to be alert, and with the help of the mind, control the senses, direct the senses along the right path. Then the chariot will move properly. Again, the analogy is, the body is like a chariot, senses are like horses, the mind is like the reins, intellect is like the charioteer, and the Atman is the master of the chariot. But let us remember, none of us can suddenly attain perfection in spiritual disciplines. A certain minimum progress is necessary so that our body, mind, and senses are in a harmonious state. And the ego, the perverse ego, should be in a mood to come in touch with the cosmic will that lies behind our little will. When to some extent we have become established, remember, to some extent, in bringing about harmony first in the body, then in the mind and the senses, and we have succeeded in awakening in us spiritual aspiration, then we have done all this to some extent. When we have done all this to some extent, then we may start with asana, posture, which is the actual first step in the path of meditation. Posture, asana. Remember, it is only after the practice of yama and niyama to some extent that Patanjali, the teacher of yoga, asks us to sit in a certain posture. What is the posture that we should choose? The definition is, posture is that which is firm and pleasant. Sthira sukham asanam. Select that posture in which you can sit steadily and which you feel at ease. Someone may ask, may I lie down? Well, you may lie down and practice it as an asana, but you take an amount of risk. That posture is usually associated with sleep. By lying down and trying to practice meditation, you may not progress at all. You may have a little good nap, and that may refresh you, but will make you spiritually dull. Worship is possible only in a sitting posture. This is from the Brahma Sutra by Badarayana, Mantra 4.1.7. Asinaha sambhavat. That is what Vyasa says, Vyasa Badarayana. Sitting posture is better, but take care that it's a relaxed posture in which you feel relaxed in body as well as in mind. If you wish to practice yogasanas as an exercise, you may do that some other time. But when you sit for meditation, you should sit firm, relaxed in body and mind. Next section, pray for all. After sitting, remember the Lord. He is our ideal. He is the indwelling spirit. He is inside and outside. You may chant a prayer, be a little musical. Let your mind, your senses, and the body vibrate with a little spiritual vibration. Then salute the Supreme Being. One great danger in spiritual life when we follow a particular path is that we are likely to be very fanatical. So it is very good to salute not only the Supreme Spirit, but also the great teachers and saints of your country and all countries of the world. What happens then? The mind becomes broad. Another danger in spiritual life is to be extremely selfish. Many a time I've found that at least in the beginning of spiritual life, spiritual seekers think too much of themselves. They forget about others. So it is good to pray not only for one's own welfare, but also for the welfare of all. Just as you aspire after peace, you want to attain purity, you want to attain illumination, so also pray for peace, purity, and enlightenment for everybody. Let all people move towards the Supreme Being. Let all people become pure. Let all people become illumined. This kind of prayer has a broadening effect on our mind. You will be astonished to see how quickly this kind of prayer soothes your nerves and calms your mind. Besides expanding our consciousness to some extent, this kind of prayer and salutation greatly helps us in the practice of meditation. Next section, significance of breathing. At this stage, a little practice of rhythmic breathing is very helpful. Take a deep breath and slowly breathe out. You need not hold the breath or close the nostrils. Just breathe in and out in a steady, regulated way through both the nostrils. But give suggestions to the mind. I am breathing in purity, strength, and peace. The infinite being is the source of all peace. As a matter of fact, in spiritual life, we cannot have enough of purity, enough of strength and peace. The more we get, the better. Fill yourself with divine purity, divine strength, and divine peace. Breathe out purity. Send forth currents of purity to everybody. Have sympathy for all. Be friendly towards all. You will be surprised to find how easy it will be for you to rise to higher planes of consciousness if you have succeeded in culturing this mood, because when we are in this mood, it is easy to detach our senses from their objects. Next section, spiritualized desires. The senses want to come into touch with the outer world. Control the senses. Give the senses an inward turn as the Upanishadic seers did. Spiritualize the activity of the senses. As the Vedic prayer goes, O gods, may we hear with our ears what is auspicious. O ye adorable ones, may we see with our eyes what is auspicious. So this is from the Rig Veda, mantra 1.89.8. So this is likely to be Bhadrang karnebhi shrunuyama devaha Bhadram pashye makshabhiryajatraha. Hear what is good, speak what is good, see what is good. Give a good direction to the senses. Let them be spiritualized. Next comes the mind, which is always trying to run riot. How to calm the mind? All kinds of desires and passions create troubles to the mind. Cultivate the spiritual mood, a little of the mood of expanded consciousness. Think that these distractions are illusory and dreamlike. Tell yourself, don't be afraid of lust, anger, greed, infatuation, pride, and malice. Don't be afraid at all. Spiritualize them. Yearn to have the divine communion. Get angry with your anger. Get angry with all that stands in your way, not with people. Covet the Supreme Being who is the greatest wealth. If you want to feel proud thinking that you are a child of God and so on. Then what happens? All our desires are given a spiritual turn. They no longer trouble us. They may even be of help to us in spiritual life. There is a wrong conception prevailing among a section of people. Some shallow psychologists say to spiritual aspirants, you are all suppressing or repressing your emotions. We do not do anything of that kind. We want to store up the energy of our senses and the mind. We want to direct this energy along the spiritual path. We want to sing the glory of the Lord. We want to visualize the form of the Supreme Being. We want the senses to be directed inwards so that there comes a time in the life of the spiritual seeker when he comes to develop new eyes for seeing the invisible, new ears for hearing the divine voice or the music of the spheres, and enjoy the fun of all that is going on eternally. One is able to play with the divine being, but all this is only on the way. We have to go further. Next section, the temple of the divine. In the well-known Kathopanishad analogy already referred to, the body is likened to a chariot. Another analogy is the body is a temple of which the region of the heart is the sanctum sanctorum. This is a grand conception. In this temple you find there is the devotee and also there is the deity. You must be able to bring about the union of the two. But this temple is a very peculiar one. Our little physical body is permeated and interpenetrated by our mental body or the subtle body. The subtle body again is interpenetrated and permeated by the Jivatman, the individual soul, and the Jivatman is part of the Paramatman, the Supreme Soul. And as we succeed in making the body, the subtle body, the senses and the mind harmonious, we become more and more conscious of the divine light that shines within us. So we enter the sanctuary of the heart, find that the heart is filled with the light of the Atman and that this light is a part of the Paramatman. Next section, how to meditate. If you want to follow the formless meditation, merge your body, mind, the whole world, everything into God. Think, I'm a little sphere of light and the Supreme Being is the infinite sphere of light, shining everywhere. But so long as we have body consciousness and too much of the sense of personality, we cannot practice this type of meditation. And there's a very well-known verse in the Gita, chapter 12, number 5. Kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta higatir dukkhan dehavadbhiravapyate. So there Sri Krishna is saying, Kleshodhikatarastesham, very difficult. Avyakta sakta chetasam, the ones who want to meditate on the formless. Kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta higatir dukkhan. The path of going after the avyakta, the formless, is filled with grief. Dehavadbhiravapyate, because we are dehavadbhir, we are, our body consciousness is strong. So that's what Swami Yatiswarananda is also saying here. So now think that your soul is putting on a pure subtle body, that is mental body, and a pure physical body, and that the infinite spirit takes the form of the Ishta Devata, the divine ideal we worship. Now visualize in the infinite divine light, which is also infinite love and infinite bliss, we have the devotee and we have the deity who is the embodiment of infinite light, infinite love and bliss. Repeat some appropriate divine name, mantra, and meditate on him. First of all, meditate on the blissful, luminous divine form of the Ishta Devata. Then meditate on his infinite purity, his infinite love, his infinite compassion. Finally, meditate on his infinite consciousness in which he is, as it were, drowned. What happens? As one goes on repeating the divine name and meditating on the divine being, moving from one aspect to another, a remarkable change takes place. Through moral practice we succeed, as I said, in establishing an amount of harmony. But the harmony that is established by meditating on the Lord is of a superior kind. When real harmony is established in our mind, in our soul, in a spontaneous way, we feel we are in touch with the cosmic harmony. Even our body is a part of the cosmic body, the Virat Purusha. Our mind is a part of the cosmic mind, the Hiranyagarbha. Our soul is a part of the cosmic spirit, the Ishvara. Many who practice spiritual discipline and meditation attain to this state of consciousness If we follow the way of japa and meditation correctly, we are sure to be blessed with some form of divine vision, some form of divine experience. That increases our faith and makes our mind steady in the path of meditation. Our mind wants to run away from the object of meditation, but through the practice of moral culture, we should succeed in minimizing these disturbances of the mind. And further, as we do our japa and meditation, we give the mind a certain theme, that is the divine name we repeat and the divine form we visualize. All these serve to focus the mind and hold our attention within. We must think of Him with a little love in our heart. When there is some love and devotion in our heart for the chosen ideal, it becomes easy for us to follow the path of japa and meditation. And what japa and meditation do is this: they keep the mind engaged, they hold it within. The name, the divine form, and the idea, along with love for God, keep the mind concentrated within. When our interest in the object of meditation becomes greater than our interest in outside things, the object of meditation becomes more and more real to us. The mind, at least for a little while, dwells on the Supreme Spirit, dwells on divine blissful form, dwells on the noble attributes. Then comes the time when one feels the divine presence. In the lives of spiritual seekers, we find that at this stage, many are blessed with the spiritual vision of the divine form. The divine being manifests himself in some aspect or other. He then becomes the Guru. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.